NAMM 2020, I'm here in the booth or in the suite. Or
Sweet.
it's
Quiet. We don't have to shout.
it's Zen, the
It's
Zen
very
place.
zen. This is the Zen Synth room.
I have the big honor here with Dave Smith. How are you?
I am great. Nice to see you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you have a big release.
Yes.
And I think for me it's more important to hear a bit more the history from you. Because we have now already Pro 3.
Mm-hmm.
There was Pro 2, Pro 1.
Yes.
So how do you come to the idea of making in the past the Pro 1?
Okay. Well, the Pro 1 came out in the early 80s. As you know, it was very popular. It was recorded a lot of those great songs in the early 80s. It was basically one voice of a Prophet 5, and we were trying to make it least expensive as possible. It wasn't even programmable, but it was a great sounding synth.
Yeah.
So fast forward to a few years ago, with Dave Smith Instruments, we decided, well, let's do a really cool mono synth again. We called it the Pro 2 because it's a nice name. We wanted to refer to the old history. So but it was nothing like the Pro 1. It had analog oscillators, but it had analog filters, but it had digital oscillators. Had a really cool sequencer. It played four-voice paraphonic. Lots of new features that nobody had done before. And now here we are in 2020, and we have the new Pro 3. It's not the same as a Pro 2. It's not a Pro 2 Mark II. It's a new instrument. It has its own features, and more importantly, it has its own sound and its own personality.
Yeah. I think it's quite important to see already, according on the market, there's so much interest still in your Pro 1.
Yeah.
There's still now a replica. Is it for you a honor to see that people now using again your designs? Or is it want to see more that the analog domain goes in another direction of more than 2020?
Well, as you know, we didn't build a Pro 1. The Pro 1 already exists. I don't want to build the same thing again. We always look forward. So maybe this instrument is something that other people can copy in 30 years. So sure, it's good to know that people like them, and a lot of people still have the original Pro 1s. Copying things, that's a different thing. But
For me personally, the the OAS1, which it was
Oh, yeah.
Pioneer,
Yeah.
was kind of the Pro 1, of the modern Pro 1.
It was, except it didn't have all the knobs and stuff. It was made kind of more for DJs, something really small but huge sound. But yes, it sounds very much like a Pro 1.
And even it's from Pioneer now, in collaboration with you, it's for me one of the best mono synth currently on the market.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, there are not many available in the shops. So I want to
No.
see again more of the AS1, or maybe from you a rebrand of it. Because it's such a beautiful synth. It's better than any Korg monologue, or it sounds
Yes.
in your face.
Yes, and we agree, and we thought they'd be able to sell more, so I'm not sure what's going on, but you'll have to ask them. But yeah, it's a great synth. We love it.
We are coming back to the future. We have 2020.
Yes.
Where should analog go forward? Because I think we have a part now, the big saturation with analog clones, new ones. Where should it go?
I think it should go where it's been going, where we just keep doing analog. So, everything we've done has at least analog filters. We've done digital oscillators. We have other digital effects. We try to mix it up. We try to do something new that has reference to the old so that it has a place. And these are all musical instruments. That's like saying, a guitar made 30 years ago. Is that different than a guitar made now? They both have 6 strings. They have 4 knobs. Is it any different? Well, but guitar players buy 10 of them because each one has its own personality. It has different playability, has different features. So I don't think analog's ever going to go away. And we're just going to keep going with it. And every time we come up with something like this, the response has been awesome, really good.
And the technology goes forward. It's not it goes
yeah.
backwards, but it goes forward. So I'm pretty sure we will see more advanced technologies in combination with analog. And
Well, that's specifically in our products. There's some really high-speed digital digital processing going on to control all the analog circuitry. It's like in the Prophet 6, we have over 100 control voltages flying around inside that instrument, and they're all controlled by very high speed processors because you have to use the new technology to generate all of that. So we take advantage of the new technology, but in the end, it's this analog signal path. It's what you hear and how it interacts. So the technology should be behind the scenes. It should be irrelevant to the musician.
I think this term has too much important in the synthesizer world, analog. It should be analog. We are in a stage where digital sounds nearly the same or exactly like analog. It can do with FPGAs and more, yeah.
Yeah, well, FPGAs, that's nothing. That's the same as digital. You could do something in software or put it in a DSP or do it in an FPGA. It's all the same. And I still don't think, digital stuff sounds good. Yeah. I have no problem with it. Like, we use digital stuff when we want to, depending on the product. But it doesn't sound like analog. I think, well, it's like what we did to Prophet X. Of course, it's all samples, it's all digital front end, but we put in analog filters because, to me, analog filters always do something magic with digital. It just kind of makes it, I don't want to use all those stupid words. Yeah, it's warm. It's, you know what I mean. You hear it, Yeah. So,
if you because you designed all these instruments, take one specific instrument from your list you designed, what would be?
That's unfair. That's like saying, who's your favorite child? I always have to go back to the Prophet 5 because that was the first one. And it's always amazing all the sounds you can get out of something that now looks so simple. It's really a basic synth, but it comes out with a wide palette of sounds. Of course, I think a Prophet 6 is much more. It's much wider range of sounds, and this, compared to a Pro 1, it's silly. It's like, this and that. So, but they're all different musical instruments. The Pro 1 still sounds like the Pro 1, and it's a good sound, and if that's what you want to use. But if you want wider feature set and more variations of sound in something that's really easy to use, then, can't miss with the Pro 3.
But now in 2020, you have a new instrument. And I found your trademark.
Yeah?
In September.
Yes.
So there was hints there's coming a Pro 3.
Yeah, there was a bit of a leak, but if you don't know what it is, then it didn't help anybody. But it's, it's okay to get the chatter in. But it's kind of funny that you have to be able to trademark things well in advance. You can't wait to the last minute. But as soon as you do, then everybody knows about it. So you're stuck.
I'm the bad boy. Yeah. So the Pro 3, what makes it now completely different to a Pro 2? So you have entered a new design here.
Yes. Well, first of all, the Pro 2 had all digital oscillators. This one we have VCOs. Oscillator 1 and Oscillator 2 are regular, old-fashioned, discrete VCOs. They have continuously variable wave shapes, and you can modulate the actual shape in each case. But the third oscillator is a digital wavetable oscillator. And it's not like the Pro 2 either. It's got 32 sets of 16 wavetables. So on any one of those sets, you could modulate very smoothly between 16 different tables that were all meant to be complementary. So as you sweep through them, it works.
So what we know from wavetable synthesis, you implemented here.
Yeah.
So you can morph through the different waves.
Yes. And so if you want to go old school, you use the VCOs. They sound great. There's something about a VCO going through, of course, an analog filter.
Which designs are the VCOs?
They're probably closest to the Prophet 6.
Okay.
So, but then if you want the digital side, you go to the wavetable. If you want an awesome mix of the two, then you use them all. And of course, you could run this as a paraphonic synth. So you could put a sawtooth on the wavetable, and then you could play 3 voices paraphonically.
Okay. And this wavetable oscillator, how flexible is it? Is it fixed to the amount of wavetables inside, or you're offering in future something?
We may, we don't know yet, but we're hoping that maybe someday you'll be able to download your own sounds, or maybe we'll provide more wavetables. So, but not now. So no promises.
I'm pretty sure because you demonstrate with the latest, with the Pro 2, what you're doing with the FM and more. So
Yeah.
you're doing big updates always for the customers. So
Yeah, we try to keep things moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the filter side, you have analog filters, or
Yes, we actually have 3 analog filters. So what we did, this is kind of new. I don't think anybody's done this before. We have the 3 most classic filters in one instrument where they could be switched. We have the Prophet 6, kind of Prophet 5 filter. We have the classic ladder filter, and we have the OB6/SEM filter, so the state variable. And 3 switches, you just instantly switch between them, and you get 3 completely different characters. So in one instrument, you don't have to have one each of 3 or 4 different synths. You just buy one, and you cover all of that ground.
can we check out the unit? Maybe
Yes.
for the filter.
Yeah. Well, I should show you the wavetables first, because I'm just starting with a basic sound. So for example, you can. All right, here's another one.
They're very oversampled.
What?
Yeah, oversampled.
We have, I don't have to talk about the technology. It doesn't matter. But the point is, it's a very smooth, obviously. And you could use, if you want to drive that with something like, we have, 32 modulation sources. I could say, source, I want to use a slider. Destination, I want it to go to this knob. I put some amount on. And so I can go to another one. You can see how they all have their own personality. So you get the idea.
Yeah.
It's just really fun to play. Well, here I'll play this sound. This is kind of fun. We took one of the wavetables, we took the word sequential, and we broke it up into 16 pieces. So when you play it back,
That's nice.
are you going to really use that in a sound? Well, not particularly, but I could play a sequence that uses that same thing. Sounds nothing like it. Change filters. Add a little filter drive. So again, quick, easy, fun.
What is obvious to see, you redesigned the complete unit. It's
yeah.
smaller.
Yeah.
It's more. Do you target a new range of musicians? So less the stage,
Possibly, yeah.
or more the
It's-
studio.
No, it's both, obviously. We've actually had some musicians say, I want to get the special edition for my studio, and I want to get the standard edition to tour with. Because
Okay.
it's exactly the same sound. It's just cosmetics, Obviously, this one's a little more sexy, but they both look good. They play good. They sound the same.
And you use different knobs.
These are new knobs. Yeah, we have not used these before. We finally did this, put the big filter cutoff knob in, and then we have the octave switches that are bigger knobs. And then, of course, we have a handful of encoders and pots, depending on what you're controlling.
What I read a lot in the comments in Germany, or where they ask you, FM is possible,
Yes.
but it's not on the interface. It must be in the menu.
Yes, yeah. So if we kind of like what I just did, in fact, well, we could do it. Let's see if I could do this without screwing up. Okay. So I'm going to say, okay, source will be oscillator 3, destination will be pitch of oscillator 1, so it's FM. Oops, amount. It's that easy. It's not linear FM.
Okay.
It's just basic FM, frequency modulation.
And on the modulation side, I saw it has 2 envelopes, or even 3.
We have the filter envelope, the amp envelope, and 2 auxiliary envelopes.
Okay.
And we have 3 LFOs.
And these are digital.
Oh yeah. Oh sure.
Okay.
Of course.
That's modern technologies.
There's, they're running at audio rates, so it's so much more efficient, obviously, than hardware envelopes.
Effect side.
Dual effects, digital effects. If they're off, it's 100% analog. If you turn them on, obviously you have a digital effect. So.
Same design from the previous one?
Yeah, a lot of the same effects, sure.
And the distortion one, is this?
It's analog distortions. That's not a great sound for it. So.
Nice. And the sequencer has been completely a new one.
Yes, definitely.
How comes to the decision to make a new sequencer?
Well, it's not new. It's based on the Pro 2 sequencer, but we made it much easier to use. We added a number of new features, and it's just quick and fun to play with. I mean, if I want to just record something, I can hit record, and then I just hit play. If I want a couple rests, I just put them in. If I want a tie, I just do that.
It's more hands-on.
Yeah, and if I want to add slew, I hit that. I get variable swing. And it's 16 tracks. So say I want to add a cutoff. I just hit record.
And you see it on the display.
Yeah, as you do it. If I want to add distortion. And 16 deep. And you could go forward, reverse. Reverse, random. It could be normal or it could be gated. Like, let's see, I think, yeah, this is gated. And you can hear the ratchet. You could have ratchet in there. So
you make me smile. It's
That's
lovely.
Perfect. That should be the reaction when you play any of our synthesizers. You should smile. It should make you happy. It should be fun. The exploration possibilities, that's what we strive to do.
So there are automation inside. Are these limited? So a specific amount, or it is 13 steps?
Well, it's 16.
16?
16 deep. So I could have recorded 16 different knobs.
Okay.
Or we also have the same as Pro 2. We have the 4 control voltage ins and outs.
Okay.
They can come from the sequencer. They run at audio rates. You could take one of our oscillators and drive it out.
Okay.
You could take an oscillator from your modular gear and put it on the control voltage in, and then route it in as audio and mix it with the other stuff. So this is actually the perfect controller for a modular system, because a lot of synths have like 30 jacks in the back. This goes to cutoff, this goes to resonant. We like to do it a little bit more intelligently by having them assignable, because every program it could be completely different. So it's super flexible.
The keyboard is still the same for Pro 1 or a new one? So
It's the same as a Pro 2. It's shorter, but yeah, it has aftertouch and velocity, of course.
But you have two different versions.
Yes.
But they have all the same engine, everything is
Exactly
same.
the
Just
same.
optics,
Just,
optical.
this one's a little sexier.
More sexier.
Yeah.
So this is
That's the standard.
the standard one.
Standard edition.
So in the weight, it's the same or near the same.
It's exactly the same. Yeah, it's the same circuit boards, the same everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when we can see it in Europe or US and worldwide?
We're hoping to ship the standard version in 1 to 2 weeks, and
Already? Okay.
The special edition probably mid-February.
Okay, that's quick.
Yeah.
Super quick. And price point?
The standard edition is $15.99 MAP. The special edition is $20.99 MAP.
Okay. So the normal one is a bit like the Pro 2 in
No,
price.
it's actually a lot less than the
Is
Pro
it less?
2. Yeah.
Okay.
It was over $2,000. So.
Okay.
Yeah, so we got the price down. It's a little smaller, a little more portable, and it does a lot more. And so
That's
a lot of people who have Pro 2 saying, well, do I want that? Well, sure. People buy an OB6 and a Prophet 6 because they're two different instruments, and it's exactly the same thing.
And I think what is important to know or to say here, the Pro 3 is not a Pro 2 MK2.
No,
What many
exactly. Some people think that because there's some similarities, but no, as you saw,
Yeah.
it's completely different.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
Thank you a lot for the interview. I wish you good luck for the NAMM 2020.
Great.
A good
Thank you.
success for the synth. I'm pretty sure it will be a bestseller.
Seems to be going well so far.
Big
Thank you.
thanks, and hope to see you again in one of the next videos. Bye.
Awesome.
Thank you.